And for more insights and reading on these developments, we're joined live by Manuel Pouchelet, geopolitical analyst from Paris. Thank you, sir, for agreeing to be with us.
Thank you, sir, and thank you very much for your invitation.
Our pleasure. So in light of the recent warnings by the Lebanese Prime Minister about an all-out war in the Middle East and the statements we heard by Nasrallah about a forthcoming response and a major battle, how do you personally see these developments reflecting the current geopolitical tensions in the region?
I know, the Lebanese Prime Minister is very important because he has a strong political experience in the area. I'm talking about Middle East, of course, about 25 years. And of course, what he said is a real truth because today in Middle East, you have a very big change between the alliances between the Middle Eastern countries. And what was real before is not true today and won't be true tomorrow. That's a it's very difficult to understand the situation because it's very high volatility at the moment. And what's happened in Lebanon is also the reflect of what is going on in the area, in the region. I'm talking about that. But concerning a major battle, I can say that it won't be only a military battle. It will be a battle in economics, because recently, I'm talking about 2 or 3 months ago, Lebanese of the south evacuate the area. It's about 75,000 persons, and they did the same in the Israel side. So it means that the economics won't running well, and this is one of the key aspects of the fight against Israel and the other Arabic countries. Of course, the war is not only a military war, it's also economics, which is important. But of course, concerning Lebanon, you know that you have an important economic crisis since October 2019, and it's very difficult to manage for the Lebanese population. Of course, most of the Lebanese, they don't want war with Israel. They try to find out solutions. That's very important to underline this tonight.
But Mr. Emmanuel Pouchelet, how likely is an escalation or a serious escalation in the region, especially amid the threats by Iran to retaliate for what happened recently? I mean, the assassination of Ismail Haniyeh.
Yes, of course, the Supreme Guide, Mr. Ali Khamenei, said he will strike back Israel. But of course, this strike is at the moment is playing with the time, and this is a very important advantage for Iran. But don't forget that also Iran shares a lot of difficulties too with American. I am talking about the threat of Afghanistan at the borders where Taliban are threatening the Iranian regime. Also, you have big threat in the north of Iran with Azerbaijan. You know that in April, the president of Iran died in a helicopter crash. So as you can see, you have a lot of common files shared by Israel, Iran, of course, the Americans. But I think the main issue is the American influence in the area. That's why it can't work to find peace talk. Okay, that's a big issue at the moment in Middle East. But of course, Iran has also new allies because today they received the Russian visit of Russian officials. It means that they are searching for some solutions, maybe in the diplomatic way, but also maybe in the military way, or to strike. There is a big difference between civilian, I'm talking about politics, and military chief leaders, because the military leaders must know what capacities he has, okay? That's a big difference. But of course, today, we are in a big region where talking and conversation is mandatory. Without these talkings, without this speech, you can't move on. That's a big challenge at the moment. And of course, I think that the solutions belongs to the Middle Eastern leaders.
And speaking of solutions, Mr. Manuel Pouchelet, I mean, we have seen Antony Blinken there trying to de-escalate the situation by advising against any response by Iran, saying maybe it is better, or let's say it could be a good idea to stop, for example, the war in Gaza and as a, let's say, a trade for Iran not attacking, that is. How do you see this as a method of de-escalating? I mean, wasn't the sovereignty of Iran just violated by the Zionist entity here? And how can they just suggest something like this, I mean, to trade this for that?
Yes, I think that de-escalate at the moment will be the stop of occupying Gaza and, of course, West Bank. And there is also another important file, which is Golan Heights. And we don't talk about what Mr. Bashar al-Assad would like to do with the Golan Heights, because it's a long heritage of big issues in the area too. And we have to take this into account. Of course, Iran is also under embargo. I'm talking about a Western embargo where the population is suffering, you know. Mm-hmm. And of course, trying to find out solutions. I'm talking about to de-escalate, is not the intervention of Mr. Blinken, because in the Arabic countries, they know that the mandate of Mr. Joe Biden is finished, and they don't know who is coming next. They don't know if Mr. Trump or Mrs. Harris will run for the president election in the USA. And of course, to de-escalate, we have to take into account that there is a very important country able to negotiate with all of the parties involved in this difficult situation, which is Oman. Okay, and I don't mind if Qatar is able to manage this situation, because you know you have a lot of rivalities between Qatar and the other Gulf countries, and of course about influence powers. I'm talking about Saudi Arabia and Iran, of course, and Syria too, and of course Turkey. And I think that the main try to find out solution is an important diplomatic solution through Oman. I think this is the best way to de-escalate at the moment. But first, if Israel is moving back, it will be the first step.
Thank you so much, Manuel Pouchelet. You are a geopolitical analyst. You were live with us from Paris. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.